So we're adventuring into a new area. We're going to do some drawing with what's called single point perspective. It utilizes the idea of vanishing points. And this you don't have to draw, but this is just to give you an idea of what we're talking about. So let's say that you have, this is my high-tech drawing here of a telephone pole. You have this telephone pole sitting here like this, and that's pretty cool, right? But then there's another telephone pole down the road a piece, right? And it's, you know, a little bit smaller, like that. And then down the road a piece a little bit more, there's another telephone pole, and it's getting a little bit smaller. And then a little bit further down here, we have a telephone pole. Now these telephone poles that we have are actually all the same height, right? But because they go back in space, they appear to get smaller the further away they get from where you actually are. And I suppose if we had one right here, this one would be like this. It'd be this huge telephone pole, you know, something like this. You know, so that the closer it is to you, the larger it gets. But the thing that happens is this. When you have things of a similar size like this, as these go back in space, they actually kind of travel along a single line into a single point to eventually they come to a spot back over here where they get so small that they eventually disappear. Okay? And that's the point where they vanish. So a lot of times we call this spot right here a vanishing point on those. And so knowing that information, we can utilize that to draw things a little bit more realistically. Okay? So here's where you guys get to draw. First thing I want you to do is let's create a vanishing point so we know where it is. And I just want to use like the upper corner, upper right hand corner. So I'm going to put a dot right there. That's going to be my vanishing point. Okay, so I want you to select a vanishing point as well on your paper. For the sake of this assignment, to make sure we all do it right and do it the same, let's all pick a vanishing point in the upper right-hand corner of your paper. And so just go ahead and put a dot there so you know where it is and it knows where you are, and you're ready to rock and roll. Doing the great pencil switch here. And we're going to start out by drawing some pretty simple sorts of ideas. Some of the simplest shapes you can draw are like squares or triangles, those sorts of things, right? When you're trying to make something three-dimensional, that turns it into a form. Okay, a form is a three-dimensional object rather than a two-dimensional object, so it has depth. So this is a trick, an illusionistic trick that we're going to use to do our drawing. So I'd like you to start out with, if you would please, drawing a square somewhere on your paper. And I'm going to make mine, just so we can see what we're doing, about 3 inches by 3 inches. It does not necessarily have to be exact, but you can make it more exact. Okay, so step number one is we want a square. I can use the edges right here of the lines through the ruler to help facilitate making it exact. Okay, so that's our vanishing point was step number one. Creating a square or a rectangle is step number two. So that's what I'd like you to have for right now. We will photograph this and turn it in because I want to give you guys points for the work that you do. We're prepping for doing a larger drawing using single point perspective while we're actually going to go in the hallways. But this is helpful to understand what we're doing. So we're going to utilize this concept, right? Telephone poles. And we're going to make this square into a cube using vanishing points. So now that we've got our square drawn and our vanishing point up there in the corner, what I want you to do is I want you to take your ruler and I want you to set an edge on the vanishing point and then set the other edge, let's say right here on this corner. Okay, so I have the vanishing point right here up in the corner and the ruler's on the vanishing point. And then the corner of the box that we're making is down here. And I just want you to draw a line along that straight edge that's going back in space Now if this cube was infinitely long, it would go back to this point where it vanished. But we're just going to make it's not infinitely long, it's just a cube on those. And I'm guessing about that far. Okay, so I should have something like that. Now I want you to go to the next corner. I'm going to work my way around here. And every corner I run into that does not cross over the original cube, okay, the original square, I'm going to draw back the vanishing point. So I'm going to pick this corner here, once again. I'm going to put the straight edge on that. I'm going to rotate it up so it's on the vanishing point as well. And then I'm going to draw a line going back into space. Kind of like that. Oh, look, it's a secret message from somebody. Let's see. Sierra, you are the winner of the Green Mark on the Paper Award. A coveted and much revered award. For those who have an appointment with Ms. Knox, it's 10:40. Okay, so now I got my two lines. Now I'm going to go over to this one. So once again, on the vanishing point in the corner, right up here, and on the very corner, the very outside edge of my original square, and I'm just going to draw a little bit of a line. Now, if I was trying to draw the inside of this cube, I could draw this one back to the vanishing point as well. But I'm not drawing the inside of the cube. This crosses over the square. I want a real solid cube with those. And most people, when they're understanding vanishing points, this part they understand. They get really good up to about this point, and then everything starts to fall apart for them. Here's the deal. The length of these lines that I've drawn that are going back in space, they're just random distances. They're not precise. They're not measured to be exactly the right length. They're just there as a marker. So the back side of the cube. The back side of the cube, I'm going to draw this one over here, right? That back line. That back line here is parallel to the front line here. Does everybody understand that? Can you see that that would be the case? So if I take my ruler like this, and I look through my ruler and I can see and line up one of the guide marks with this front line, then I can draw the back line parallel to the front, like that. Okay? The mistake most people make is they take the end of one line and then just connect it to the end of the other line. That is incorrect, and you will not get points for doing that. Okay? So, the next part is the vertical. I'm going to set my straight edge on this corner right here, where the back is, and I'm going to look through my ruler right in through here and line it up with the lines of the fronts of the box. And then I'm going to draw a vertical line down so that this line and this line right here are parallel to each other as well. And so there you have your cube. Notice there's extra. There's extra pieces here. That is exactly that extra. And so those pieces can be erased like this. And even this little nubber over here can be erased because that's extra. And so that's the basic idea of using the cube at creating a cube and a vanishing point. Okay? Where the sides that recede in space go back to the vanishing point, everything else is either horizontal or vertical. Okay, here's what I want you to do. This is the test to see if you guys got it, and I'll see if you have it when I upload it. I want you to create another cube using this technique somewhere on here. And I'm just going to kind of do that. I'm not going to walk you through the steps. I'm just going to say you can create a rectangle or something like that. I'm going to do this one down here. Maybe I should do this one with you down here. I have one that is only going to have one set of lines going back to the vanishing point. Let's go ahead and do this one with me. I want you to draw a rectangle or a square that is either very close to the vanishing point or overlapping it. The vanishing point line is right here. And you'll notice that the side of the rectangle that I drew is over here, and it's on this side of the vanishing point, and then the other side is on this side of the vanishing point. Now, the reason why that's important is this. The vanishing point is your eye level. Okay? So as I look at this cube, this is your eye level right here. So if this is my eye level, I'm looking down on this cube, and I can see the top. And I'm looking down or to the side of this one, and so I can see the side over here. This cube on here, I'm going to be looking down on it, and I can see the top, but because of where the side is positioned, I won't see this side, and I won't see this side. Okay, so let's do this one. Vanishing point. And then once again, utilizing the skills that we acquired last time, that the back side of your cube is parallel to the front side of your cube. So this and this, these two lines are parallel to each other. Okay, so that's box number 2. Now you'll notice you can't see this side of it. You can just see the top of it. That's because your eye is right here. I'm going to draw one more. You get to draw one more. This has got to be a smaller one. I'm going to make this one a little bit, maybe a little bit more flat. So I'd like you to draw one more cube on here somewhere. So you need to have 3 cubes on your paper. And so the sides of this cube, I'm going to make making it kind of a light gray just so it shows up a little bit better. And I'm shading along the surface. I'm using my massive blending shading skills. And I think I'm going to make this kind of a medium value, just so we can see it a little bit better. Same for this one up here. And then I'm going to make the tops. I'm going to make the tops just kind of a light value. So the sides are medium and the tops are going to be light. And then the fronts can be white. So that our cubes look a little bit more like cubes. They look a little bit more solid if you put in the values, if you put in the shading. That's kind of a cool thing on what it is we're trying to do. So that's the assignment, is to make 3 cubes with a vanishing point and to put the values in there. That's the master plan.